Hey guys, welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel, where once again we are back with Manchester United match coverage, this time in their 3-0 win over Charlton. However, today we are going to be doing things a little bit differently because, no disrespect to Charlton, a lot of the reason for this Manchester United win was a skill gap rather than massive tactical ploys from Erik ten Hag. So rather than looking at tactically how Manchester United won this game, I want to look at some of the key things that either we learned from this game or certain things that we already knew that were particularly well highlighted during this match. So before we actually get into that, I want to talk to you guys about the OneFootball app, because for me it's the perfect place for you guys to get the complete football package all in one place, all at zero cost, whether that's player news, team news, transfer news, player statistics, league tables, upcoming fixtures, live matches in the Serie A every single weekend. This weekend is Inter versus Verona, all in one place, all for free, all using the OneFootball app, which you can download using the link in the description down below, or by scanning the QR code on screen. It really is easier than ever to get the complete football bundle using the OneFootball app. So this will include looking at Manchester United's midfield, certain fullbacks, the lack of Bruno Fernandes in the team, the wingers, the striker, and of course the substitutions, and the pure quality that is still in this squad. So that's what we're going to talk about today, and we'll talk about some positive things and some negative things. And unfortunately we are starting with a bit of a negative thing, and it does involve Scott McTominay. And the main thing I want to point out, now this is something that was highlighted rather than something we learned, I think we already knew this, is that the drop-off for Manchester United from the first team to the second team in the midfield department is like falling off a cliff. Going from Casemiro and Eriksen to McTominay and Fred is a massive drop-off. Now, Fred does a job, to be fair, he's decent, and he is a good squad player, he's a good player from the bench. And to be fair, without wanting to criticise him, I do think McTominay is decent from the bench. But in games where he's starting against, again, no disrespect, but a team like Charlton, he shouldn't look out of his depth. And my issue with him in this game was he just never looked comfortable on the ball. He always looked like he was trying to sort his feet out and get the ball out from under his feet. Now, this isn't McTominay's level. He is better than Charlton. I'm not saying that. But he had a particularly bad game. Now, we have to give him kind of some leeway a little bit because he hasn't been playing a lot of football recently, so he does need to build some match sharpness. But he just looked uncomfortable on the ball all the time. And his inability to get the ball moving forward through the lines is just staggering against a team like Charlton. He needs to be doing it a lot more, and I think kind of this performance maybe showcased why his game time has been reduced in recent months, because he just isn't the level of someone like Casemiro in the first team. Now, like I said, I still think McTominay has a role to play between now and the end of the season. I think he will be an important squad player, but the drop-off from the first team to the second team in the midfield is really bad. And more so from a defensive point of view, perhaps. When Manchester United lose the ball, in recent weeks we've seen Casemiro quickly getting around the ball and winning possession back. McTominay and Fred just don't do that. They have the energy, the work rate to do that, but they just don't have the intelligence and the reading of the play to do it. And what we saw in this game was that when Charlton were winning the ball back, they did have some sequences where they were able to knit a few nice passes in these areas and then attack out wide. And I just don't think that would have happened with Casemiro in the midfield. So kind of the first thing that was highlighted in this game was that Manchester United need to continue improving their midfield because the drop-off from the first team to the second team is just too great a gap. Before we continue with the analysis, I want to talk to you guys about JerseyFIFA.com, the home of all of the greatest football kits. Whether that's the latest home shirts, the latest away shirts, tracksuits, or even retro kits, Jersey FIFA has a bit of everything. There really is something for everyone, so if you are interested, then make sure to use the link in the description down below and head to JerseyFIFA.com. The next thing I want to talk about is a positive. Of course, in a 3-0 win, there are plenty of positives to take from the performance, and for me, one of the positives was the performance of the fullbacks, Malacia and Dalot, and then when Dalot came off with a kind of precautionary injury, Aaron Wan-Bissaka then came on. I thought he done well as well. What this game done for me, rather than teaching us something, was it highlighted something. The importance of Erik ten Hag's fullbacks. They really are absolutely crucial to the system, and we saw it in this game as much as we've seen it all this season. Now, in this game, United had a lot of the ball, over 70% possession, so were able to commit more numbers forward than normal. However, it wasn't just a case of chucking the fullbacks forward into any position. They're very measured with the way that they approach the attack. And Malacia in particular has really impressed me in recent weeks with his understanding of when he's meant to underlap and when he's meant to overlap to provide the greatest opportunity for his winger. And Dalot done the same down the right hand side as well. And actually what I want to do in a second is look at one of the goals from last night which really highlighted this. But what the fullbacks were really good at doing was making these driving runs forward, which one drags the opposition winger narrow, but also makes the fullback hesitate, and then it gives the winger a bit more time on the ball. We saw it down both sides of the pitch, down the right hand side there, but also down the left, where Malacia is making an underlapping run. It drags the opposition defenders, and then it allows someone like Garnacho to get on the ball and go at his man. So these fullbacks are playing really important roles. Of course, we know their importance in deeper possession as well. They are often responsible for trying to get the ball moving forward. I'm really enjoying watching Ten Hag's fullbacks continue to evolve and develop. Like I said, we're seeing it from Wan-Bissaka as well, whose career at United we kind of thought was over. He is doing a good job also when he plays down this right hand side of getting into these forward areas, putting crosses into the box. So this is something that was highlighted in this game, that the fullbacks are very important, and I think recent games have really shown why Malacia was signed. Yes, he is excellent competition for Luke Shaw, and he's a great backup option, but also from a tactical point of view, he seems to really understand the role which Ten Hag wants, and that comes from having previously played as an inverted fullback. So yeah, kind of like the second thing was highlighted was that the fullbacks are very, very important and are continuing to grow, but are already improving under Erik Ten Hag. And actually, let's just quickly look at the goal, what I'm talking about. So what I want you to do, watch Dallow's run here at the bottom. He makes this run narrow and it drags the opposition winger much, much more central. This allows Fred to come across the pitch. We can see the fullback has also been dragged narrow, and this gives Antony room on the right wing to get the ball, from where of course he takes a couple of touches, works the ball inside and then bends it into the top corner. But this was all made possible by Dallow's underlapping run, dragging the defenders away, giving Antony this room to come in and then perform. So yeah, just kind of to cap off on the fullbacks, they are improving and really evolving under Ten Hag, and as Ten Hag continues to develop this side, they're going to be really, really important to the project. Whether it's Shaw, Malacia, Dallow, Wan-Bissaka, I think they all have a role to play between now and the end of the season, which is excellent for Ten Hag, because that is 4 quality fullback options. Now, whilst the fullbacks did put in some good performances, I think there was something missing from this Manchester United performance, and that was the suspended Bruno Fernandes. Now, Bruno Fernandes is a player that at times draws criticism because he can be sloppy in possession. His decision making can be rushed at times, he loses the ball unnecessarily. However, what he does do is make things happen. Now, that might seem like a strange thing to say in this game because United won 3-0. However, 2 of those goals came very late, and in general, United didn't create any chances, and there was a lack of a willingness to just someone try and make something happen. I thought Kobbie Mainoo was a little bit safe in possession, which is completely understandable. As a 17-year-old making his debut at Old Trafford, he was a little bit safe at times. We've already spoken about McTominay, and also we know that Fred isn't going to provide creativity. It left United with a lack of creativity in the middle of the pitch, so not too much to say on this one because of course he didn't actually play. But again, for me, I think this game highlighted the importance of Bruno Fernandes. When he is available, he is undroppable at the moment because he gives this United team something which no one else in the squad can offer, and that is just bags and bags of creativity and chance creation, as well as the occasional goal as well. Now, whilst Manchester United may not have had that threat of Bruno Fernandes, they did have threat from elsewhere, and it came in the wide areas, particularly from Alejandro Garnacho, who gave Claire at right back a horrible game. A torrid time. He must have gone to bed with nightmares of Garnacho. And Garnacho was absolutely brilliant. Now, a lot of the times that Garnacho was getting the ball was from Harry Maguire getting the ball and switching it out to him. Garnacho would then pick up the ball, drive, get Claire on the back foot, and either get to the byline or cut inside. Now, in terms of what this highlights and what we learned from this is, I think we already knew the talent Garnacho has. But I think what we saw in this game was how, as a profile of a footballer, he might be one of the most Ten Hag players in this squad. The most suited to how Ten Hag wants to play. We know that naturally, Ten Hag wants really wide wingers that are able to go inside or outside, provide the width for the team, and make things happen in 1-versus-1 situations. We kind of saw all of that in this game. So initially he was holding the width, stretching the pitch as big as possible, dragging Charlton out of position. From where, to be fair, Maguire deserves credit for his long passes to get him into play. But that's one box ticked, he's providing the width. From here, he provided 1-versus-1 ability, he always does, but also unpredictability as well. Sometimes he goes to the byline and flashes across the box on his left foot, sometimes he shoots on his left foot, and then at other times he's looking to work the ball inside, perhaps when Malacia is overlapping to drag the defender. He looks to work the ball inside onto his right foot, then get the shot off a goal. So, what I learned, or what was highlighted in this game, was that Garnacho really could be a key player over the next 3 or 4 seasons for Manchester United, because as a profile and tactically, he looks almost exactly like what Ten Hag wants in his wingers. I think his end product can improve a little bit, and his final decision at times. Particularly in this game, he seemed very keen on getting a shot off a goal. At times, he could have perhaps laid the ball off to someone else in the penalty area. However, in general, this is a very young footballer who is so exciting to watch. He's so raw still, yes, but from a technical point of view, he has that key skill set that is needed for a winger, and like I said, from a tactical point of view, he really does look like what Ten Hag wants from his wingers, which is a great sign for Garnacho and Manchester United moving forward. Whilst Garnacho really impressed with us as attacking threat, one player that didn't really live up to that was Anthony Elanga, who looked out of place up front. And the thing that I learned from this game is that this man needs a loan for the sake of his career. Now, Elanga is still just 20 years old. I think people forget that at times and are a little bit harsh with their criticism of him. I'm probably included in that. He is still just 20 years old, so has a lot of room to develop. However, at the moment, he just isn't a Manchester United player. In terms of on the right wing, I think there are players ahead of him, the likes of Anthony, Sancho when he returns. On the left wing, Rashford and Garnacho are ahead of him. Facundo Pellistri might even be ahead of him after last night, which we will come on to. And then up front, Martial and Rashford are both ahead of him. So realistically, Elanga's game time between now and the end of the season is going to be extremely limited. So for me, the best option is to get him on loan to another Premier League team where he can get regular football. Now, I've seen talks of a team like Everton. I actually disagree with that, just because they've got players like Gordon, McNeil, Damari Gray. I don't think it guarantees Elanga game time. He needs to go somewhere in the Premier League where a team that has a lack of wingers, so he can play week in, week out. That's what he needs to do at 20 years old. Unfortunately for Elanga, I don't think his place right now is at Manchester United, so what was really highlighted in this game was that he needs to go out on loan to get some football. Another player who might need a loan and certainly needs more minutes is Facundo Pellistri, who only made his Manchester United debut last night. However, I thought he was really impressive, played a big role in 2 goals, and kind of what I learned from last night and what was highlighted is that this guy needs minutes. Whether that is for Manchester United in these cup games and things like that as a rotation player, or again going out on loan somewhere else, Ten Hag needs to figure something out, but I thought he looked really, really good when he came onto the pitch. Technically, he was very clean on the ball, but also nice and direct as well, a bit like Garnacho. I was saying about Kobe Mainoo being a bit safe in possession at times. Pellistri was anything but that. Every time he got the ball, he was looking to play forward, but importantly, he was clean and tidy with what he'd done. He wasn't just losing the ball for the sake of it. He was very methodical in his approach, he was providing the width, taking on his man, and as we said, he got involved in 2 of the goals, which we'll look at now. So we have that first goal here that Pellistri is involved in. Casemiro gets the ball deep, plays the ball wide, and we can see Pellistri providing the width for the attack. So first things first, he has ticked that box of a Ten Hag winger. He is providing the width for his side, with Rashford making a run just behind me. Here McTominay deserves credit. He makes the overload, which drags the defender and causes confusion. But Pellistri does well. The easy pass would be to slide this to McTominay on the overlap, but no, he keeps his composure, but then has the technical quality and the vision to play the ball through for Marcus Rashford, who scores. So again, excellent impact from Pellistri, getting involved in the goal, and of course he was involved in the next goal as well without actually touching the ball. So if we look at this third and final goal here, we can see Pellistri involved on the edge of the centre circle here, making a run, and this run is so selfless. He knows that he isn't going to get the ball here, but look at the way he drags the centre-back. That is what opens the room up for Marcus Rashford. So, statistically, Pellistri doesn't get a goal or assist or any sort of contribution for this goal. However, it is his run across the defence which draws his space and gets Marcus Rashford in on goal from where he was extremely clinical on his left foot. And that secured a very nice win for Manchester United. So I'm just doing the edit for the video now, and I've realised that you guys can hear the slow motion audio, the commentary for some of that match footage, so apologies for that. I'll have it sorted for the next video, but just to kind of re-record this last bit of the video, Facundo Pellistri, really impressive with his performance. He was nice and direct, but also very technically clean, and showed really good decision making on the ball. I was very impressed by his performance, and kind of the highlighted thing for me is that he needs game time. Whether that's for Manchester United in cup competitions or on loan elsewhere, he looks like a player with a lot of quality, so get him regular football, get him working on his craft, and I think you could have a really good player. And also those goals take us quite nicely to the final point. Marcus Rashford and Casemiro are of ridiculous quality. I don't want to talk about them too much because they didn't play too much football in this game, and I've covered them plenty in recent weeks. But again, the impact that these guys have coming on from the bench or when they're starting matches is just absolutely incredible. They are 2 world-class players. Casemiro is an elite player and shows it pretty much every time he plays. Absolutely brilliant from Manchester United, from these 2 from the bench. So yeah, that's all I've got to say for today's video, really. Again, apologies for that match audio. I'll try have it sorted for the next game. I hope you at least enjoyed the commentators in slow motion. But But let me know what you think in the comments down below. What do you think of some of the things I've said? What do you think of this slightly different style of video where we talk about key points rather than a tactical breakdown? And yeah, have I been harsh on McTominay or Elanga? Have I been too kind to Garnacho, someone like that? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed the video. Again, apologies for that little audio error, but I will see you guys in the next one.